3. Sweet, okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tucson Mufon. I'm your host, Karen Hill. I had to write that down.
Just wanted to take away the volume.
Oh. I keep forgetting to introduce myself. It's like always. But this is our 32nd meeting, and we have one once a month. And MUFON stands for the Mutual UFO Network. And if you're interested in becoming a UFO field investigator, there are pamphlets over there on the table. And I just had a really interesting case where this guy in 2012 was walking his dog at 2 in the morning, and he kept seeing like a UFO just in the sky, and it was like a 2-hour walk, which is normal for him. But when he came back home, his wife was like, "Where were you? You've been gone for days. I almost called the police." And he was just like, well, she would then accuse him of cheating on her, and he was just like he didn't defend the days missing. He was just like, "I'm not cheating on you. Like, I don't understand." And then I was like, okay, I really want to interview her, but she died 2 years ago, so I can't. So it's just a mysterious case. Wow. And then the Phoenix MUFON chapter, their venue is under repair, and it might be till May. So she's looking for another venue. And there are 2 UFO conferences coming up, one in California in March, and there's flyers over there for it, and then there's a cool one in Sierra Vista in May, and I would say buy your tickets before they go up. Yeah, it should be good. It's a supernatural conference, so it's more than UFOs. There's cryptids and ghosts.
And these other ones are from last year, so make sure you look up
the new one. And then our break today will only be 8 minutes, and I'll have a timer because sometimes you guys like break my break rules. And then how many of you guys have been to the Crying Onion Cafe and heard John speak? Awesome. How many of you have never heard him speak before? Wow.
Yay.
You got new fans.
Yeah. Or more people I can upset, basically.
Or that. So John DeSouza was an FBI special agent for over 20 years and a collector of the real-life X-Files. Trained as an attorney and investigating official of the U.S. government, John unravels mysteries that elude investigators restricted to the purely material world. John has researched and uncovered paranormal experiences as they have been revealed to him. This is his first time at Tucson Mufon, so please give him a hand and silence your phones.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So am I working through this, though?
Both. Like, that's capturing you only from the camera.
It's just a record.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I do need this.
Yes.
Okay, now I understand. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is great to see everybody. It's good stuff. And when I give my presentation, you're going to understand why the History Channel had my picture up on the president's wall with a little note that said, "Do not hire this man." History Channel, as you may know, we also call it the Alien Channel as well. They also call it the Hitler Channel too for a while because that was all they were showing for years. And now it's all aliens, and I have a lot of friends that show up on that show as well. And so they tell me about what's going on. But that picture that they had up that said "Do not hire," I learned about that from a friend of mine who was trying to be my agent for Hollywood, and he was the one that told me about that. But shortly after that, the president of History Channel died. He passed away. He was an elderly gentleman. So I don't know what the situation over there is now, but I don't answer their phone calls anyway. So yes, I am John DeSouza. I was an FBI agent special agent for over 25 years, basically. During that time, in '93, I had a bunch of my cases taken in my book, my notebook, which we keep of all of our case notes of, and that was taken and shared with a Hollywood producer named Chris Carter. I don't even know if he's alive still, but anyway, he was a brilliant man, and he used many of my cases during the first season of The X-Files in 93, way back in 93. I was busy with some other things in that year also, but one of the things I became busy with, of course, was the FBI bosses calling me in and calling in Chris Carter as well to explain himself. And that didn't go that, I mean, it went kind of well, really, because they were able to find out that I had nothing to do with giving information from my cases to the X-Files. And Chris Carter basically said to our bosses after they threatened him, the FBI is big on threatening people when they have no basis to threaten them. But our bosses told him they were going to shut down his show, they were going to get rid of him, it was going to be terrible, fire and brimstone, apocalypse, it was going to be awful. And Chris Carter said, okay, no problem, just tell me exactly which cases we're talking about, and then I can give you all the information that I had on any of those cases. And then our bosses said, no, that's okay, we don't have to go that far. You just have to get your stories from somewhere else, and you can go forward from there. And then they basically just handed the whole thing over to the CIA that basically minded the X-Files and Chris Carter from there forward. And then at the end of that, at the end of a long run for the X-Files, the CIA then set up Chris Carter with this other project that they encouraged him to move forward, which was called what was it, the Smoking Men? The show that the CIA made about the Twin Towers being taken down. The Lone Gunman, that was it. And Chris Carter stepped into that trap. He went ahead and started the Lone Gunman, and then the entire government went against him, and he lost his entire career. It was really bad because he basically made the Lone Gunman was about what happened, what was going to happen in the Twin Towers, and it was very accurate. So that was anyway. That's the story of the beginning of the X-Men. And let me see, how's this sound? It's a little staticky, huh? So yes, I am John DeSouza, and I am very happy to be here with you guys. And if I don't, and this stuff is it's very controversial, but at least I'm not going to talk about politics today. For anybody who had concerns about that, okay? So what I'm going to do is talk about religion instead. You guys all right? You all right? Hang on. Because I start this with one question for you guys. What would you do if God incarnate came down, and this isn't really about religion, it's about spirituality, seriously, okay? What would you do if God incarnate came down and gave you a message warning you about something very specific that is to come? How would you feel? Would you feel like, maybe I better pay attention to this, maybe I better do something about this? Well, in the world of scholarship, biblical scholarship, we've had an unbelievable development that just came up. I'm telling you because it's the truth. Unbelievable. We have found, and I can't stress this enough, it's not a mistranslation, because for those of you who don't know, the Bible is the only sacred book, the only religious text that we have in existence where basically it's Jewish scholarship, really, over the years, has found every scrap of papers, however you say that word, of scrolls, of things vacuum sealed. They have accounted for every bit of language in the original language that was spoken by Jesus, Aramaic, and the ancient Hebrew as well from the Old Testament. We have every bit of language. As a matter of fact, today, if you want to read the Bible and also be able to go back to the original language. Again, this only exists for the Bible. There's no other religious text that has the original language preserved. There's an app called the Blue Letter Bible app. Blue Letter Bible app. It has all the versions, including the King James Version, which I think is the most reliable. And it has also the translation of every single word back to the original Aramaic or the original Hebrew. It's in Blue Letter Bible app. Anybody else who's looking at any other version of the Bible, of Bible apps, is just wasting their time. You've got to have the original language available to you, because that way, if you find a verse that's very important to you for whatever reason, you can actually go back and say, what are the actual words that were said in this instance? Not just according to King James, but that were actually said on the original papyrus, or the original scrolls. Anyway, the reason that matters is because we have here a message from Jesus where he was explaining the end times to his apostles. His apostles, of course, were always confused by everything that he said, because Jesus wasn't just talking to them, he was talking across eons of time. He was talking to all peoples, especially us today that are living right now. So for that reason, his apostles were always no end of confused with the things that he would say to them. Well, here's one of the things that he said to them. Oh, you know what? I actually have a laser somewhere here, like a real professional. And so let me see if it works, though. Oh, there's a freaking on switch somewhere. Oh, no. Do you have light? Yeah, there's an on-off switch on the side there. It's very hard to get to. Anyway, this was in Luke, in the KJV, where the apostles asked him, okay, please, Lord, tell us the real deal. What's the real deal? How are we going to know when your next coming is? What signals are we going to get? How are we going to know? And one of the things, and he said, many of the things, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, great earthquakes in diverse places. And then he said something else. He said, and there will be fearful sights from heaven. Again, fearful sights from heaven. Well, here's the development that we have. There's a very famous biblical scholar named Rick Renner. He happens to be, I think he's Greek Orthodox. He's also an expert in Greek and Aramaic language. He is the greatest expert there is, actually. And what he did was he found out something very, very strange. He found out, let me see if this has there it is. He found out that this was not a mistranslation. It's not a mistranslation. I don't want anybody to think that. That's not what we're talking about. It's simply preferred idiom through usage, actual usage. As many of you may know, when you actually use a word, sometimes it comes out different from how it is in the dictionaries and in the thesaurus side, the thesauri. So what happened was Jesus did not use the word phobeo. It looks like all the translators basically took the word that he said as phobeo, which just means, and it's all of its variations, means fearful sight, horrifying sight, terrifying sight, extremely scary sight. That's what phobeo means. However, it turns out, after Rick Renner's scholarship, that Jesus did not use the word phobeo, or one of its many slight variations. He used the word phobitron. He used the actual word phobitron. Now, what Rick Renner found out is that through his scholarship is that whenever the word phobotron was actually used, regardless of what it says in the dictionary, whenever it was used, it was always used in the Greek, Aramaic, ancient usage to mean monsters. To mean monsters. Okay, now, this is not monsters in the modern sense of just monsters today just means anything big and scary. Anything that's kind of big and scary. Am I registering weird on this? How about here? Is it good? Okay. It's monsters in the sense of an unnatural being that is not connected to God. Okay? Think of Frankenstein's monster from long, long ago, Mary Shelley wrote about. Frankenstein's monster was not a monster because he was big and scary looking. He was a monster because he was unnatural. He was made from dead bodies that had already lost their connection to God. They are unnatural creatures that have no connection to God. That's what Rick Renner means here when he says that Jesus used the word for monsters from the sky. Also, when I was a kid, I studied Greek and Latin prefixes, suffixes, so that we could understand what words meant better as we grew up. I doubt that's taught anymore. I don't know. But for you guys, even in our usage, when I was growing up, we had all these Godzilla movies, and then they would always throw in like some sort of semi-robotic creature to fight against Godzilla. They would call it Megatron, Daldeastron, Godzilla-thon, Kongathron, and the word Tron even today is used in movies referring to an unnatural creature that's created through a computer program and becomes indestructible. So even ourselves with our common usage of Greek prefixes, we know already that the word Tron stands for unnatural creature of some kind. And that's what Rick Renner has revealed here, that Jesus has warned us on these things. And he told us. Oh, that was the link for the Blue Letter Bible app that everyone should be using so that you can corroborate some of these things I'm telling you today. Let me see. Oh, now, by coincidence, today is the 10-year anniversary of my writing of the book, The Extra Dimensionals. It's been out for 10 years, and like I predicted in the book, everything in this book was going to be used in the world of ufology. They would just change the names a little bit. After this book came out, it happened just like I said it would. Everyone in ufology started using the terms interdimensional. They were trying to avoid saying extra-dimensional, but they took all the ideas from my book, and those ideas spread everywhere, which I think is a very positive thing. So today is the 10-year anniversary of this book, and that's why I am now writing the follow-up, Extra Dimensionals Phobotron edition. And the reason I tell you that is because the extra dimensionals, the whole idea of the extra dimensionals, first came to me from this document I was presented with that's from 1947. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, extra dimensionals was first defined in this document. This document it's called the Smoking Gun document, and it is what reveals what extra dimensionals are, and that they are the real aliens, basically. And so this is the document that comes up with it. It can be found at, the link is down there. It's at vault.fbi.gov. You go to that site, then you go to the right side, has a thing, one of the subheadings it has on the right side is unexplained phenomena. Then you click on that, Then you go, and then under that shows up UFOs, UFOs, UFOs. And then you click on the first group of UFO documents. Then you go to page 22. Then you'll find this document again, and everything that it says. And here's one of the things, whoops, here's one of the things that it says. Right here. It's a little hard to read. It's like the old-timey courier stuff, but it says, basically, extra-dimensional is first defined here in 1947. It says 5. Let me tell you first, this is an FBI agent. In 1947, for those who don't know, there was a worldwide phenomena of UFOs all over the earth. And everyone was asking everyone, our militaries, our news services, our scientists, were all asking the government, what can you tell us on this? What's going on with this worldwide wave of UFOs? It's all over the earth. What's going on? And one of the things that happened was that this FBI agent was assigned to a university science department. He was there either as an undercover or a liaison, in a liaison position. And he wrote this document saying that he had an informant who was an actual, he intimated that it was an alien visitor that was his informant, and that his informant told him all these things. And so he was reporting it. And here's part of what he reported. 5, they do not come from any planet as we use this word, but from an etheric planet which interpenetrates our own and is not perceptible to us. Okay? He's in a sense, etheric kind of means spiritual. It means a plane of existence that is unknown to the physical. But he says that the planet they're from is right here with us. And they are actually here with us in our understanding of time and space. And yet they're not, because we can't see them most of the time. It is not perceptible to us. And then in 6, he says, the bodies of the visitors and the craft also automatically materialize on entering our vibratory rate of our dense matter. In other words, apports. That's another, he uses old-timey language in this. No one says the word apports anymore. But here's what it means. Apports refers to objects or items that are mysteriously materialized or dematerialized during a paranormal event. This is one of the ways that you know whether something is actually a true alien visitor or whether it's something man-made. It's because the true extra-dimensionals, they can both materialize suddenly and they can dematerialize suddenly. Now, I'm not saying they can jet away at 3,000 miles an hour, or they can take off really fast or appear really fast. No, we're talking about complete dematerialization and materialization as well. It's apports. That's what we're talking about, and that's what really makes the difference. The smoking gun is the most downloaded government document in United States history. Several millions of downloads for this document. And I would recommend everyone get a copy of it. It's free, and you just go again to fbivault.fbi. So this is the definition of extra-dimensionals. Creatures or craft that are from somewhere outside our limited dimension of physical matter, time, and space. They are from something extra, something other than, something from outside, extra from what we are. They are not physical, except they can appear to be material for short, very short periods of time. Alternate definite. It's a hard concept to to grasp. I've spent a lot of time with the Japanese in Tokyo, and I've written several books in Japan, and this is the hardest thing to understand. So it may be easier to understand as possibly as spiritual phenomena, because for most of us, when we go outside of our time, space, matter, we can only think in terms of like, okay, then it's spiritual. So there is that's another possible definition of extra dimensionals too. It could be spiritual phenomena. That was also said by Jacques Vallée and many other great thinkers in ufology who used to exist. Not anymore though. Anyway, this is not interdimensional, not ultra-dimensional, not mega-dimensional. I've sat with guys who used all those labels and weren't even able to explain what it meant because they're not really using their own ideas. And that's just the way it is. So that was where that was from. Oh, so here I wanted to give you an example of this spiritual phenomena possibility as well. Ooh, that's better.
He had been at, he had lived at. And he told us especially all the levels, the military levels, levels that were laboratory and science. And he told me the final level, the most restricted was the level that had alien presence. Only generals and aides were allowed on that level. And it says even they were not allowed to move directly at these creatures. And also that was a human experimentation. He said there were bodies, human bodies in there. He says this is the most extraordinary thing you've ever seen in his life. The deep underground military bases, a lot of that space is dedicated to continuity government. And so the national government support these deep underground areas. These elite powers of control, they have access to information of all kinds of data that tells them about coming things that are impending at any moment. And so they reserve those bases for their purposes. And those national government leaders that are thinking that they're going to get to use those resources for whatever they need, they're in for a really rude awakening when the time comes because they're going to keep chopped out. So the elites are preparing using these underground bases. But it's interesting to note high consciousness people are also prepared by exploring new community models.
So thank you so much, Karen. So the director cut off the rest of what I said in this particular segment because what I went on to say was maybe was too crazy for him, but it was that in the 90s, of course, I was given custody of a former Soviet colonel who came to stay with us with the FBI while we housed him and we took care of him while he was getting ready to debrief to the CIA. And one of the things he told me this story about these deep underground military bases right outside of Moscow. And what he told me was he used to deal with his superior, the person in charge of the entire facility. The dumb was this guy he used to call General Zad. His real name was Zadabansky or something longer, but he used to just call him General Zad. And so one day he went to this facility. This was the last time he was with the Soviets. It was just before he defected. He went to this place, and he had an experience that scared him more than anything else in his entire life. And he had been a member of the KGB. He went down to the most secure level of this facility that he's talking about, and he saw General Zad from the back. He saw him from the back, and he tried to approach him, and he heard this deep, guttural sound come out of General Zad that didn't sound like him at all. General Zad was a very high-pitched voice man. And he looked closer, and he saw that General Zod's head was changed to reptilian in nature. Reptilian in nature, but the closer he got to doing this to try to see his face, he got these thoughts and sensations from this creature that said, you can't look on my face. You cannot look upon my face. And so he was told, back up. And he did. He backed up pretty far, and he said to me, that was still General Zod, but he had been infested. The word he used was infested by this reptilian spirit, is how he put it. And he was usually drunk all the time when he was explaining these things to me, but this sounded pretty lucid when he was telling me this. It was pretty crazy, but it goes in, it really, at an early time, it went in to really put forward with me that it's very possible that any genuine alien visitor experience is very possibly a spiritual phenomena as well. And that helped me to develop the definition of extra-dimensional as well. That was what that was all about. So, in 1947, there was an alarm over the smoking gun document. The Illuminati, the Cabal, whoever you regard the banking dynasties of this planet, they were not happy with this, and they launched something they had for a while in the chamber. And here is the reason why History Channel would never have me on. It's because of this right here. The Roswell PSYOP in New Mexico was launched with a long-term cover-up that was designed to fail. The double trick. I go into long explanations of what the double trick is. Anyway, the double trick over time, so that the whole world would know that aliens and UFOs are physical. They're trying to erase everything that you just saw in this presentation. They're trying to erase it. And they're trying to let the whole world know that aliens and UFOs are just physical, just like us. Physical and from another planet in our material dimension. The opposite of what the smoking gun tells us, okay? This was the purpose of Roswell. This was the origination of disclosure theater, the idea that government could show us the truth about these physical beings if they wanted to. They just don't want to yet. These physical beings will eventually also be the saviors of humanity. This is the gospel of Roswell. That's why you better never speak against Roswell. If you want to be invited to UFO conventions, if you want to be out there talking about it, you better genuflect before the great shibboleth of the Roswell PSYOP that went forward. There's so much evidence for what they're saying happened in Roswell. And yes, there is evidence there. And also the cover-up that was used by the government was just beyond weak. It was just so weak to use that they were hoping that it would go away eventually, and all that would be left was the gospel of Roswell. They are coming. They are physical. They are physical just like us. They can end up just on the White House lawn, right? Haven't we all heard that? Yeah, why don't the aliens just drive onto the White House lawn and just, they don't have to crash, but it probably would help, just have them crash there. And then, but that also this is Roswell Disclosure Theater. Purely physical, man-made, examinable, controllable by the elite powers in control. Controllable. That's what they're really looking for. Roswell gives them control. They get the pieces of the spaceship. They get the alien hybrid bodies. They get control over everything. And then they get to say, these things are just physical, just like you and me. They're just like us. That's what they're trying to put forward. The double trick, I explain in a lot of different ways, but here's what Roswell is, and a lot of the stuff that goes on in disclosure theater, as I call it, is it's all the double trick. The best way to explain the double trick is, let's say you get caught for some white collar crime, and you go to a SAT camp, you go to some sort of minimum vacation camp where congressmen and CEOs are sent for white collar crime. So let's say you go there, but now a gang leader sees you and says, okay, I want that person on my side. So what they will do is they will send a couple of their thugs that are members of their gang to come and threaten you with knives, with shivs, and then the gang leader will actually come in physically, and he will beat the crap out of those two guys that were trying to threaten you with a knife. And he will beat them up and physically really hurt them sometimes. But that's part of life in prison life, even from your friends. So they take it and then they run away, and then the gang leader says to you, I really like you. That's why I rescued you, and I saved you from those two guys. So I'd like you to be part of my crew. What do you think? And then you're under my protection. What do you think? And then you will always inevitably, you're somebody who was almost hurt in this situation. So the natural tendency is always to say, yeah, of course I'll be with you. Yeah, that's great. You saved my life. You saved my life. Thank you so much. Anyway, that gang leader who sets up that theater, that is the perpetrator of the double trick. They have to have some drama in there. They have to make it look like they're one of the victims also, but really, you're the victim. That's how the double trick works. It's a trick inside of another trick. Frank Herbert used to talk about that a lot too, who wrote Dune. He was great. And here is, Disclosure Theater continues. In 1952, we had a bunch of a large crew of UFOs that came all over Washington, D.C., and they dominated the airspace. They basically took over the airspace. And they took it over for 14 days. 14 days. The government wrote a report about it called the Congdon Report, named after General Congdon, the guy who did the final report on this. And basically all the report said was, yeah, it's all true. It's all true. It's the only government report in existence that says, yeah, it happened just the way you think it happened. And those UFOs came in over the airspace of Washington, D.C., and they basically dominated the skies. And then it was the only time that a Western nation Air Force went out after UFOs. Never happened again after that, because our entire Air Force, the U.S. Air Force, was humiliated, completely humiliated. These UFOs did loop-de-loops around the jet planes. They did over and unders. They did backwards movement in front of the planes. They did maneuvers that just put our Air Force to shame. Eventually, our Air Force just left, and they dominated the skies for a little bit longer, and then they went home. During this period, we have seen a group of UFOs that appear to be from the Germans, and I do believe these UFOs were man-made, and that they did belong to the Germans during World War II. And we saw them use them in a couple of limited circumstances as well. And eventually, all these UFOs, I believe they went to Antarctica. And there was a group of Germans in Antarctica who broke off from Hitler, and they just took up residence in Antarctica somewhere, and they had their UFOs with them. And Our Navy found out about that, of course, as you know. We eventually sent a flotilla after them, and that flotilla was destroyed. So,
with V objects in the sky, I would say it was about 5 on one side of the V, 5 on the other, with a craft. So these all of them were white color, and they were just moving very. I would say it was moving just like this, that type of speed. You know, it was like footage.
Is that real footage of it?
that's an excellent question. And you know who was asked that question many times? BBC. BBC made this video eventually, and there were times when they said, no, the video's not real. We created it. And then another time, BBC said, yeah, this was the real video of what was really going on and what happened. We just enhanced it, to make the things brighter, and that's it. That's all we did. So it's difficult to know if it's real when you have a fundamentally dishonest organization backing it up, that you don't know when they're telling the truth. Okay. Now this is something all you guys know about already, but it's different to see it put down in an organized way. Disclosure Theater final goal is revealed in the 1970s in Washington, D.C. as fake alien invasion. Of course, you guys know Wernher von Braun was the head of NASA, and in the 1970s he warned that there would be great deceptions staged by the cabal, the deep state, the Illuminati, the people who own the nations. And he told Carol Rosin, of course, his protege, that the number one, and all of his predictions have come true, by the way, the number one worldwide conflict that the cabal needed to occupy the nations, as he put it, would be, number one, would be Soviet world versus the USA, versus the Western world. Let's put it that way. And that would be, and it's true, the Cold War, every country took sides in the Cold War. It was a worldwide conflict, basically. Then, when that conflict ran out, number two, the radical Islamic world versus the Western world. And we saw that, for sure, in our own history. That went on for a very long time under the neocons and under the people who wanted us in these endless wars that were going on back in the 90s and the millennial years as well. Then third, he said something very interesting. Third, he said it would be asked for a period. It would also be when that Islamic world thing ran out, then they would turn to asteroid threats versus our world, asteroid threats. And we can see that NASA continues to try with this one. Every year they come up with a different asteroid, near-Earth object. They have lots of different names for them. But every year they come up with a big one, and they try to whip up some fear, some hysteria, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. They keep doing it every year, and nothing happens. I mean, Three-Eye Atlas, it's like, have you guys met anybody who says, oh yeah, Three-Eye Atlas is coming. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. It's like, nobody cares. It's incredible. But people don't care so much that they forget that this happened this year, and then next year, when it happens again, as it's been happening every year, Three-Eye Atlas means the third interstellar object of that series. But they have other series that they've used too. For the last 10 years, they've been doing this. And it's crazy. And it never gets much response. But that's what Wernher von Braun was talking about. He was saying that the asteroid threat, if that didn't work either, these are sequential, by the way. These are one after another. Once one concludes, then he said the cabal would move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one finally was what he called, number 4 here, the alien card, a fabricated extraterrestrial invasion meant to unite humanity under a single global authority. This final card is a lie. That's what he said. I'm not sure what he meant by that, but I guess that, yeah, it's a lie because it's fabricated. It's not, it's a fake alien invasion. He is the first person to tell me about this, way back in from the 70s, I should say. And it was intended also as a pretext for creating space-based weapons and a new world order. So that's important to know, that it was the head of NASA who was the first person to reveal this, what the final goal of Disclosure Theater actually was, what it is. So, how do I know so much about Disclosure? This is a little embarrassing. How do I know so much about Disclosure Theater? Because I fell for it too. Anyone heard of the Tether incident in 1996? Okay. Can you guys tell me, what does this look like to you? Yeah, right? Yeah, right? You know, the first guy who told me that was this, according to NASA, they're saying that this is a 12-mile cable out in space. Okay? But you know what George Nuri told me? And that's when he still had his marbles. He still had all his marbles. But he looked at this, and he looked at me and he said to me, this really looks like it's a petri dish. A petri dish with water, and that those things look like cells, living cells. He says that's what the supposed UFOs look like. And I was amazed. I was amazed. But look at this thing. Look at this thing. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have to move here. Okay. So now this is all the same film. This is film that, remember the double trick? NASA said, oh no, we left all of this on a public server, an open public server. So now any of those, I forget what you call those incels, the kids who stay at home and play on their computer all the time. Yeah, they can all, but they don't even have to be a hacker. It's a public server. You can basically legally get it. And so NASA said, oh no, this is terrible. We're going to switch all of our servers to all of our data to private servers so that this can't happen again. This is such a terrible thing. Look we're the victims here. NASA said, we're the victims. This is terrible that this happened. And then they released, which is really what they did, they released it by putting it on a public server. And and then this video is what was put out. And they even show, at the end of this video, it even shows the people in NASA sitting there. There it is, with the people in NASA looking up at this screen to prove to you that they were really looking at outer space. Come on. Come on. Didn't you see them sitting there? They're looking at outer space. So this is, like I said, the reason I know...
1996 shuttle mission was conducted.
Carajo. The reason I know so much is because...
Back in 1990, space shuttle mission was conducting some experiments.
Because I was fooled too.
Using a long tether that broke off. Yeah. And let's talk about that because that has a lot to do with this. Like these things.
Suddenly, dozens and then hundreds of these perfectly formed discs just started appearing everywhere.
Do we know how big those dots are?
We can only do by comparison that we know the tether itself is 12 miles long.
12 miles long.
So it's sticking straight, and there's one of those giant, that thing has to be at least a mile across, the one you're seeing right now.
Clearly, there's something.
And they exhibit the same patterns. This happened in 1996, and this experiment, there it is. And look at the pulse it's giving off. That pulse is an energy scan. It's because it's scanning the area. Because the pulse is not coming from the back, it's coming from the front.
It looks biological.
And yes, it does. And I also believe that UFOs are alive themselves.
What did they conclude
And they
with this
all-
white event?
Oh, well, at the time, NASA was able to just stammer around. They're perfectly shaped discs. They all have the donut hole and the little shark bite on the outside. And I have a theory about that shark bite. It's a plexiglass window-like area that allows people to look inside and see whatever they want to see.
Do you think this is biological or some kind of machinery?
I myself believe that true UFOs are actually biological, that they are conscious entities, that they are alive themselves.
It looks like a cell,
Yes,
doesn't it? A large cell.
yeah. And this thing, all they could stammer out was ice particles and debris. And that's all NASA was able to say. And then they took down the public server this was on, and NASA never again used a public server for to expose their satellite film at the time.
Investigators know. Best evidence is actually connection to human authenticity. DeSouza's rule, I teach courses on this, on how to be investigator, how to be power investigator, things like that. And DeSouza's rule of best evidence in any case is not the direct physical evidence from the crime scene. It is not the blood spatters, the bloody knife, or the smoking gun. It is direct connection to human authenticity in testimonial or even anecdotal evidence. Here is what I teach as the true order of evidence reliability. Now, scientists and fact finders have this chart completely reversed. They consider statistical to be the most important type of evidence. They consider documentary, demonstrative, second most important. Physical, real is third most important. And scientists and fact finders consider testimonial, anecdotal to be the least reliable of evidence that there is. And you can ask them, they'll tell you in a hurry. But true investigators know that the opposite is true. That testimonial, anecdotal is the most important because it's connected to human authenticity. Physical, real evidence is second most important. Documentary and statistical is the last most important. You guys know the saying, there are lies, damn lies, and then statistics? Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. Here are revelations, as opposed to this is true alien visitor contact. True alien visitor contact, for some reason, comes on an individual basis. I'll show you a chart very soon that shows that fakery in this area, disclosure theater, is almost always is institutional. It's institutional. It has nothing to do with individuals. Well, these are true alien contacts. Anybody remembers Antonio Villas Boas, 1957 in Brazil. He turned out to be one of the greatest lawyers that ever existed in Brazil. Betty and Barney Hill, Travis Walton, Boyd Bushman, who actually dealt with material that came out of Area 51. And these are genuine, authentic revelations of alien visitors directly to individuals. Individuals who, just by coincidence, I guess, they were paragons of virtue, truth, honesty, and that's what all of these people were.
You mentioned Travis Walton.
Yes,
He's from northern Arizona.
that's right. Sitgraves, yeah. She was asking about that I mentioned Travis Walton, and he's from the northern Arizona area. And yes, I've met him. I've met him several times, and he is a very interesting individual with incredible honesty and forthrightness. It's really something to talk to him. He was oh, and all of his friends for the most part were also very trustworthy people. Oh, to Travis? Well, I think that everybody here knows that Travis was logging in 1970. What was Travis was logging? He was in 1975, and he was a very young man, and he emerged into a clearing, and there was a ship there that was not so much made of metal. It seemed to be made of plasma. It had like a living light all around it, and eventually he was taken up into the UFO. But before he did that, the UFO actually took off, and apparently it killed him on the ground. But then it came back, picked him up, took him inside, and the inside was a lot of extra-dimensional stuff. The inside of the ship was the size of a stadium. But from the outside, it looked to be 60 feet in diameter. But when he went inside, it opened up into like a chamber. Also, he had three gray beings trying to hold him down to a table on the inside. Because they were so small, though, he was able to just bat them aside and move them from one place to the other. And eventually, those three left, and they came back as Nordics. 3 Nordic beings who were all over 6 feet tall, probably maybe closer to 7 feet. And they were all big, strapping individuals now. But I believe it was the same 3 entities that he had just thrown around. They just came back with different clothing. That's part of extra dimensionality too. They are able to change their skins the way we would change clothing. That's definitely what I believe. So yeah, Travis Walton's situation was very interesting and very important for us. Another thing in Revelations, in true X-Dimensionals, is that these people seem to have a dreamy kind of quality to their experience. And it's possible that these grays, like the ones that I encountered when I was a child, that they may be somehow translating us to a different dimensional experience for a temporary time. So that's also possible, and that's part of extra-dimensionality too. In the 1970s, I had the experience of coming across one of these ships. Actually, this happened to me in New York City. I was about that age too, and it happened to me. I was underneath a ship that was in the sky, and it beamed like this greenish, bluish spotlight to me, like it was examining my entire body. Then then it went away from me. I went back to my parents, tell them what happened. They didn't believe me. And a week later, I had about 4 of these gray beings come into my room at night, and also they spread out to my parents' bedroom as well. And they held us all under some sort of stasis, where they held out their hands and they kept my mother and my father asleep. But me, they actually came over to my bed as a child, and they lifted me out of the bed. I was like a half-filled helium balloon. I just went with them, and then they climbed in my room. They climbed on nothing that you could see. They climbed on nothing that you could see, and they basically were trying to put me through the ceiling, bring me through the ceiling. And they were going through the ceiling very easily. And so then they tried to lift me through, and my forehead stopped my body from going through. And they were like the most confused engineers. They They lowered me again. They looked around, and then they tried this exact same thing again. They did that 5 more times. I started to wake up from the banging on my forehead. I started to wake up, and I was able to move my neck, and then I was able to see. And I looked down at my parents' bedroom, and I could see the other two there with their hands over my parents. My parents were in pools of sweat. They were trying to wake up, but they couldn't. They were having some kind of experience as well that the alien visitors were giving to them. And I was able to finally move my neck over enough to look at the one I thought was in charge for some reason. And he looked back up with those big black almond eyes that stretch almost halfway across his head. And he looked back, and he was not talking, but I could hear him in my mind. All I heard was the words, "He's awake." And then everything dropped out. They disappeared. I fell like 10 feet back down into my bed. And then they disappeared. And it was a crazy, crazy experience. It all happened at 3 a.m, by the way. And it was crazy. And my parents were of no help after that. It was a crazy experience, but I know what I felt from those beings. On a spiritual discernment level, I didn't really feel like evil or good from them. I just felt like, neutrality, like we're just here to do our job. We don't care about you really. I mean, we don't care one way or the other. We just have to do our job. That's the sense that I got from them. So that's what I put into effect whenever my Christian friends are always saying, why don't you just say that they're demons already? They are demons. It's not that simple. It's just not. It's just not, because if they had been demons, I would have been able to feel that. Even as a child, I had very good spiritual discernment. I would have been able to feel that. So I don't think the answer is as simple as that aliens are just demons. No, I don't think they are. Just because of my own personal experience with them. So, okay. All right. I'm going over on time here. Karen, can I go a little bit longer? I mean, okay. This is disclosure. This is disclosure theater. The Dome of the Rock UFO happened in 2011, and I feel that this was possibly Israel testing Blue Beam, Project Blue Beam, and directed energy. You have to use both together for them to be effective. And here is a prime example. This is Jerusalem, and this is the thing coming down. It's that plasma ball. And then it just gave off that energy bolt, and it just sucked back up into the sky. These are all videos of the same thing, from different angles. Okay, here it's already there. That's it. Yeah, well, it was giving off a lot of energy. A lot of energy. You can barely look at it like the sun. Energy flash. That energy flash covered all of Jerusalem. Think about that. Okay. That's Georgia. That's... Oh, Mississippi. I was close. Now, again, these are the same videos from different angles. Yeah, it really happened, for sure. Oh, and then this was the weather camera for Jerusalem that showed the exact same thing again. It's just more proof that this really did happen. But the question was, what was it? And I think that's been answered now. This was a testing of Project Bluebeam plus directed energy. That's what I believe it is. What happened? Did it stop? Oh, okay. We didn't get much on that one. Okay. Whoops. All right. No. Okay. And this is another incident of pretty much the same exact thing that happened in 2011 in Jerusalem, happened in New York City in 2018.
New York. No, this is not a scene from an upcoming Independence Day movie or an actual alienation. New York police say it's a transformer explosion at a power plant in Queens, lighting up the New York City skyline in a brilliant blue. No one was hurt in the explosion. The explosion caused some power outages, including the area airport, but they didn't last very long. The New York Fire Department determined it was caused by equipment malfunction.
Now, the first thing that I want to draw attention to is the video capture of what happened. Meanwhile, I splice in video that you see here of some kind of event supposedly taken during the same thing. They combine those images together to make it seem like, oh, regular people got video of the close-up transformer explosion. But that is how deceptive and sneaky they really are. This is what a real transformer explosion looks like. This video was captured last year in New Brunswick. As you can see, it doesn't go on for as long as this event did, and it doesn't.
Shoot. What did I do?
New York. Oh, this is a nice yellowish glow, and it is a local light that definitely does not light up the entire sky, and it extinguishes very quickly. So quickly.
All right, so let me just tell you guys what happened here is, and this has happened in many different places in the United States, South America, Central America, Brazil as well. And I have the videos. I can't show them all, but it happened, when it happened here, what happens basically is from 12 midnight to 3 a.m., they wait for a night that has no moon. It's a moonless night. Everything's very dark, and it's like midnight, black outside. Then, all of a sudden, somebody turns a switch, and suddenly the entire sky lights up blue, like it's the middle of the afternoon. This is terrifying if it happens to you. You're like walking along midnight in the city, and then suddenly somebody flips a switch, and the whole sky goes up light blue. Then there's some, and this is what happens, there's some energy bolts that come down and destroy transformers or electrical transformers or gas stations on the ground, something to create a big explosion. Then there's a portal that forms in the sky, like the one you're looking at right now. There's a portal that forms with a lot of energy coming out of it. And then you see little UFOs coming out of that portal. This has happened all over the country as well as here.
But I also want to know, what is seen flying out of this bright area in the sky? Could it be that perhaps we are being visited by extraterrestrials? Could it be that perhaps we are being visited by another dimension? Or could it be that these are experiments being made right in front of our eyes? What if this is a government experiment that was
It
out
is.
of control? The
It
quickest
is.
thing to say is, hey, it was an electrical fire. Well, last time I checked, this is what an electrical fire looks like. It's always red and black from the smoke. I've never seen a bright blue sky due to an electrical fire. So what is happening here? It's very scary, but I think that we finally have made contact. It is here, ladies and gentlemen. The proof
There's the UFO.
is here. It happened right in front of our eyes and we haven't even noticed. We have not even noticed.
But I'm sure there were many UFOs that came through that we
I
just,
want to be prepared in
So are
every
you
way
saying
possible.
that those are
We don't know
real
exactly
UFOs coming
what's
out,
going to
or is
happen.
No.
that like the
From this
movie
moment
fake?
on.
no, exactly. It's like it says there, it's it's basically testing Project Bluebeam and directed energy to see how they work together. Can they work together? One of the ways they made them work together is that they have local authorities, whoever the local authorities are, they notify them that there's going to be an explosion of a transformer or a gas station, and that they are supposed to say that it was that explosion that lit up the portal that you're looking at right now. And that's what created the portal. That's what this guy is talking about. So yes, these UFOs, I don't believe they're real. I don't believe I believe they are all part of Project Bluebeam and also directed energy.
Plus, I also want to know, what is seen flying out of this bright area in the sky? Could it be that perhaps we are going to be visited by extraterrestrials? Could it be that perhaps we are being visited by another dimension? Or could it be that these are experiments being made right in front of our eyes?
Yeah, they are. They are experiments. I'm sorry, what?
I never heard of that, and I'm from that area.
Yeah, so am I, and I never heard of it either. I was born in New York City. But yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It was on all the news, but the news basically reported it as, Karen, do we want to take a break? Yeah? Okay, let's take a break, guys, for, what is it, Karen? 8 minutes? 8 minutes. Keep it to 8. Keep it to 8 minutes. Anyway, this is my flyer for the event tomorrow at the Crying Onion. In case anyone's interested, that will be tomorrow. And other than that, this event is happening tomorrow at the Crying Onion at 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And it's $10 admission. Seating is limited. It's at 3684 West Orange Grove Road, Suite 156, at the Crying Onion, tomorrow at 2 p.m.
You have to make a reservation or just show up?
No, you just show up. Yeah.
Show up like an hour earlier.
Yeah, you're supposed to show up like an hour.
Actually, on your thing it says Nadia, text Nadia to reserve your seat.
Right. On the thing it says text Nadia to reserve your seat, but you can just show up in real life.
What's your topic tomorrow?
My topic tomorrow is going to be Three-Eye Atlas, Three-Eye Atlas and NASA and all the other space agencies too. It's should be a little bit wild. And then I'll also talk a little bit about this as well, of course, of my new book. Because, guys, I have a new book coming out, and it's going to be great. And I have to practice it everywhere I go. That's the main thing. Okay, now let me see. It'll be out by. I'm trying to get it out by September, I believe. Oh my gosh, okay, I like to laugh. I seriously like to laugh. What's going on? Oh, I know, right? Oh my God, you should hear me. You should hear me when I'm on my own. The The asteroid, I mean, am I right that the asteroid thing happens every year? I mean, you guys know that, right? It's ridiculous. And it always happens during NASA's budget time, when they have to renew their new budget. You guys know that NASA gets billions every year in their budget for filling up a couple of Petri dishes and running electricity through the Petri dishes and then saying it's outer space? I was like, yes.
Yeah, didn't they say something about it's now moving into the intelligence sector?
Into the intelligence?
Under the umbrella of the CIA or the intelligence?
No, I didn't hear that. Where did you hear that?
Oh, God, I don't know, but it was a couple of months ago.
Trump said it?
I thought more
But he didn't do it. He just said it. He moved NASA under the intelligence. Wow, that's funny, because I've been thinking of, what do you think the reason is why Doge will not come anywhere near NASA? Can you imagine when they start going over to NASA and saying, what have you been spending these billions of dollars on? Basically, they've been spending that money on Photoshop, it's CGI, and a bunch of illustrators. I'll do anything they say. And they've been spending it on helium, because their satellites are not in outer space. Their satellites are only in the upper atmosphere, on balloons. On balloons. If you don't believe me, go look at NASA's budget every year, which is public. You can look it up, and you can see that the greatest purchaser of helium on planet Earth is NASA. Okay? It's incredible, the stuff that's true about these people. So, oh my goodness, let me see about restarting this. Holy moly. Where am I here? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I had some people ask me about, who was the young lady who asked me about these charts? Who was it? Okay, did you want to come and take some pictures of this chart and maybe the other chart before I go forward? Are you there? Okay. Because, or we could do it, okay, you want to do it now? There you go. Play slideshow. Okay, let me see. And this is, oh, and then I had a young man who asked me, how do I know that this is Project Bluebeam and directed energy that's being used in these instances? And the case is, those are educated guesses based on what I see here going on. And what I see here is an extraordinary energy expense and projection in the sky. In the sky, they're creating this enormous portal with a lot of energy coming out of it. And also, we see bolts of energy, so that covers directed energy. And Project Bluebeam is something that has been going on for many, many years. And I just don't see any other two real sources of power that could create this kind of a scenario. And that's what I see.
Something connected to HARP at all?
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah. But HARP is so top secret at this point, and they give you so many... yeah, here's another thing to take a picture of. Basically, here it is. Jesus did give us a warning about Phobotron, sky monsters. And I believe that his warning actually applies to both sides of this chart. Okay? On one side, you have revelations, real extra dimensionals. And they originated with this smoking gun document in 1947, where this document defined who extra dimensionals are, what they are, what qualities they have. And then we have all of these individuals individuals over the years that had these things come to them on an individual basis. Then we have the other side of this chart, disclosure theater, which starts off with the great Roswell psyop, which started again in 1947. So we have two tracks going here. We have all the composed, staged events. Washington, D.C. In 1953, I think it was 53, or maybe it was 52. Also, we have in the 80s, we have basically Hollywood jumping on board with disclosure theater. Then we had the Brazilian Roswell, Varginha, Brazil, in 1996, which was almost a perfect parallel of the original Roswell, except they used some religious symbology in this one, where they used the three young girls who were the witnesses and all of these things, and then they used the police used the weakest cover-up with a homeless guy. They just grabbed some homeless guy who was funny looking, and then they said, okay, he's the alien. And the homeless guy was like, yeah, I guess I am. And then we have all the giant triangle cases, which I now believe are man-made. They're all man-made, along with the TR-3Bs, which we know are man-made. I also believe the Phoenix Lights were man-made at this point. I also believe that as well. Then we have the Dome of the Rock. We have the Tic Tac campaign, the Tic Tac UAP campaign, which started in the USA supposedly in 2004. In 2004. Now, which one? Absolutely, they are. They are man-made, and the reason I actually believe that is because in 2004, we had an incident that happened that signified the Navy taking over the entire UFO program from the U.S. Air Force. The U.S. Air Force, since Roswell, has had dominion over the entire UFO investigations area. There was a reason for that. It's because it's the Air Force in the air. UFOs were supposedly from the air as well. So that's why it counted. Well, now in 2004, they had the U.S. Navy, the Nimitz, and several other vehicles basically take over ufology. Why? Because there's two reasons. The Navy handles legal matters for the entire military. Also, it handles all top secret weapons development for the entire military, the United States military, which covers a lot of ground. And so what they were able to do down here, Tic Tac's UAP campaign, what they were able to do basically is just change UFOs over to UAPs. And UAPs were basically a top secret weapons development program under the dominion of who? The military industrial complex that everyone, that Eisenhower warned us about. Here's a continuation of the chart. If you guys want to take some other pictures, this is a continuation of the same chart. And now up here, it says, U.S. Congress, fake whistleblowers, and former, entre comillas, former government officials join with mainstream media under the military-industrial complex 2017 to the present. And here is a little UFO here and a little dollar sign. That little dollar sign is the reason why now you see Congresswoman Luna and all the congressional committees having committees on these, meetings on these UFOs all of a sudden, and all the supposed government commissions and things that were run by these former CIA officials. It's all a bunch of crap, and it all comes back to the money. The military-industrial complex that is developing these top secret weapons right now and has done in the past and continues and will continue to in the future, they are handing out lots and lots of money to congressmen, senators, to people in ufology, a lot of money, because this helps them to have their top secret weapons programs go forward with no interference. No interference, no drag, no senators that are upset, no nothing. That's why it was so important for them to take over ufology under this whole rubric. So that's it. Whoever wants pictures, hopefully you've gotten them. Here's, my first book, The Extra Dimensionals. This is the most famous quote from The Extra Dimensionals. Has been a world bestseller for many, many years, for 10 years, basically. And here's one of the reasons why. This is the quote that went all over the world. And this quote applies to both sides of that chart that you see right there. Once the black swans arrive, once we awaken to numerous mile-long shadows cast by these ancient ships hanging over our major cities, soundless, motionless, maddening, it will be too late. And that is saying it will be too late to learn what is going on, because we have to learn before then. Okay, this was supposed to be the halfway point. It's a artist depiction of testing blue beam technology and directed energy weapons. So we are past that.
Warning, the following content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. November 2004, off the coast of San Diego. A training exercise has begun. USS Supercarrier, the largest aircraft carrier in the world, designed for one purpose: to infiltrate and annihilate enemy forces.
The Nimitz is one of the largest ships we have in the U.S. Navy. It's so big, it has enough firepower to basically take over an entire country. Add to that, the Nimitz is always accompanied by smaller ships of all shapes and sizes. You're talking about a flotilla.
Housing over 6,000 soldiers, the Nimitz has launched one of its 97 warheads. That's in 20 seconds. This is the U.S. Navy at its most extreme. No one and no thing could dare cross its path. Still, November 14th. A blip appears on the radar. An unknown object crosses the screen, pushing speeds at over 3,000 miles per hour. Radar operators assume a technical malfunction. But then another object appears, and another. The Nimitz goes into high alert. Not only are these foreign objects appearing near a Navy aircraft carrier, but they're also invading United States airspace. 2 F-18 fighters are deployed, led by Top Gun Navy pilot Commander David Fraser. With over 16 years flight experience and over 3,500 flight items, Fraser had more qualifications than any other pilot in the United States at the time.
So we were running training missions before our deployment to Iraq. And we got a call about these foreign objects. So I ordered my guys to suit up and go check it out. I never could have expected.
Flying high above the ocean surface, the F-18 intercepts location contact 180 miles west of the San Diego coastline. When Commander Fraser reaches the contact point, he looks out of his cockpit window and is astonished at what he sees below. A craft hovers above the ocean surface, floating in thin air. It has no exhaust, no wings or rotors, and no apparent means of mechanical lift. Fravor described the craft as an elongated egg or tic-tac-shaped craft, unlike anything in the USO model.
See, the craft didn't have any flight surfaces on it. There was no wings, no tail, no jet engine. Just solid and white. And it hovered like a helicopter. Except there was no rotor on the surface of the water.
And if the presence of the craft wasn't strange enough, what happens next defies all known physical laws. The craft begins moving at instantaneous speeds, starting and stopping without any acceleration or deceleration. Commander Fravor said it looked like a ping pong ball scanning across the water, and that the G-forces of such maneuvers should have been enough to destroy the craft itself, or at least instantly kill any human occupants inside.
When we're dealing with advanced technology, we're in the realm of known. We don't actually know what it is that's animating the craft. We don't know how it's moving. It's beyond our physics and our understanding of how physics work. Therefore, when we're thinking about things like the G-force, to us, it makes sense that it doesn't make sense. But when we traverse into that unknown territory, we have to start asking more questions about what we think we know.
At this point, all I could think about was, I'm going to get a better look at this.
Fravor pilots within a half mile of the craft and chases it throughout the sky. And once he locked on, his heat-activated camera picked up this extraordinary footage. Commander Fravor and his co-pilot converse over their private communication line. The seasoned pilots are completely baffled by the craft's speed, lack of heat shots, and impossible maneuverability. Then, something amazing happens. The quick begins rotating on its side. The pilots are shocked. It becomes clear to these professional pilots that what they're witnessing is not a dismissed work.
It had no exhaust. Every aircraft has exhaust. Even drones have contrails that conceal the fuel. There was nothing like how it has to be moved. I've seen every aircraft on Earth. And this thing was not moving.
You can believe there's other life out there. You can believe it's coming here to visit, but it's much different than when you actually staring at it. Because your entire worldview is shattered. This thing shows up out of nowhere. That's not part of your current reality. You can't deny that it is there.
When the footage was released in 2017 in the Pentagon, the military classified the object as an AAV, an anomalous aerial vehicle, the new military term for UFO. But this wasn't the first. Over the following 2-week period, the NIMS continued to spot hundreds of craft, and the footage kept rolling in.
Why is it that even people in our military, fighter pilots with 17 years experience, they don't know what advanced technology is being used?
Within days, internet commenters suggested the video might be the work of clever CGI artists or an elaborate hoax. But the name of the footage of its release suggests otherwise.
Let's say, could it be a fake? Let's say yes. Okay, it's a fake. If it is something like a CGI, then you have to consider that every single silent is in. The people from the NIMS are also in on the fake. People at the Pentagon who authorized this to be released are in on the fake. Either way, this is a monumental story. Because you're talking about either these as aliens visiting us with tech that we can imagine, or this is a fake from the government that somehow has some extraordinary gift to going forward to make people believe in alien life.
To this day, the Pentagon has no explanation.
They sure do.
And the military's executive report assesses that the anomalous aerial vehicle was no known aircraft or air vehicle currently in the inventory of the United States or any foreign nation.
This is an extraordinary event. And in context with the eyewitness testimony of a pilot flying a jet chasing this thing, and the radar data from the ship itself tracking this thing, you've got not only an image, but radar data, and the pilot giving his personal testimony. You've got three different triangulations that says something. not from Earth.
Could the Tic Tac craft be evidence of extraterrestrial contact with our own military? Are the purposes of its occupants peaceful, or are they possibly a threat to national or even global security? Perhaps an explanation can be found for more extraordinary footage captured by everyday civilians recording UFO contact on a commercial airline.
That was when it all started. And I now believe that that entire incident was nothing more than top secret experimental testing of top secret weapons. Like Trump likes to say, as an aside here and there, he likes to say, we have weapons that nobody knows about. We have things that the whole world would go crazy if they knew about these things. And we have them right now. He has said this several times in several different contexts, and he never explains any further than that. But I think that his little comments there are connected to this right here, this top secret weapons experimentation. And not everybody in the Navy had to know that what this really was. There was only one person that had to know, and it's the commander of the Nimitz. He's the only one that has to be told, this is not a hostile action. This is experimentation of top secret weapons. That's all, because he would be the only one that would need to know, you can't fire on these things. You cannot fire on these things. So for that reason, he would be the only one that would need to be told. And even he wouldn't need to be told the whole story. He would just need to be told, these things are not hostile. They will not hurt you. And you don't need to fire on them at any time. Yes?
You don't think that it's more likely that what they were saying in the video, like it's CGI or something, and then the whole crew, all of them are in on it, and it's just a fake?
No, because we have the...
think that
Yeah.
the U.S. has these things?
No, because it's not CGI, because we have the film. And we can see in the film that it is real. If it's not that you don't have to be a professional graphic artist. You just have to have a sense of video when it's showing artifacts and when it's not. You just have to be a person that has some sort of sense of when film is real and when it possibly could not be. Like it has to show artifacts to be CGI or be fake or something like that. It's difficult to describe, but it just comes with experience of seeing a lot of these videos. So yeah, we can tell it's not CGI. It's not CGI. It's real. It's not Photoshop. It's not. But this is how the double trick works. It is real, but it's not what they're saying it is. It's something else, much more pedestrian, much more not interesting as aliens. But they want to make it interesting. They want to make it that it's aliens. Have you guys ever seen that guy Elizondo? Yeah. I mean, he is a perfect CIA script reader. And he is perfect because in the CIA, they teach you not to just say the things that you want to say, but to say little poetic things that imply what you want to say. So that's why he gives his little speeches and his presentations. And then when they ask him on the news, they ask him, so does this mean that there are aliens making this stuff? He takes a step back. And instead of saying, yeah, these are aliens, what he does is he takes a step back. He tries to look really meaningfully up at the sky. And he says, this is proof that we are definitely not alone. It's just a CIA script that says nothing, but it seems to say a lot. So that's why he uses things like that. And all the other members of his phony baloney academy, they do the same exact thing. They can never say what they actually mean. They have to read these little canned statements that are kind of vague, kind of neutral, but they lead you towards where they want to lead you. So yeah, those are one of the things. This has now become the biggest thing in disclosure theater. For the first time in human history, the mainstream media is being ordered to consider the truth of UFOs. Whether you're talking about CNN, Fox News, and the Tic Tac videos are being championed by a group of former CIA officials and Pentagon officials, led by a youth pop figure. And here they are. Here's the original Disclosure Theater. Tom DeLonge and his little crew back there. The Tic Tac videos actually show nothing extraterrestrial. They just don't. If you review them, you'll see that. And then we had this WikiLeaks showing the collusion between John Podesta and Tom DeLonge with their secret plan to enlist the youth of America into believing in UAPs and everything else that they believe in. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And then we have Mellon here. Mellon, you want to talk about Illuminati, he is the Chris Mellon from the Mellon Foundation, also the Mellon Carnegie Bank. The Mellon Carnegie Bank, that's who this guy is from. And this was one of the main guys in To the Stars Academy. He's also a former CIA official, okay? Now, if that's not good enough for his resume, he also stood up in front of the world and he showed this this Mylar balloon as an actual UFO object. And then later it was exposed that this was a party balloon from a 1-year-old's birthday party. And that the photo was taken in the UK in 2005 by Steve Mira. Some of you may know him. He's a very reliable source. It's just unbelievable. So I always tell people, as soon as someone starts talking about high-level government insiders, just run away as fast as you can. The only thing, this is a meme that went around during this time, the only thing that's a threat are the people telling you it's a threat. Speaking of the media supporting this movement,
This is a box convert of our new findings tonight in the search for extraterrestrial life. The New York Times reported that the secret Pentagon has been tasked with investigating UFO sighting. Despite likely releasing some of its launch findings soon, those findings would be stunning, particularly for people who have doubted the existence. The Pentagon has been conducting classified hearings on UFOs for more than a decade, knowing very little about this fact. But apparently, just to cover our off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. That's a direct quote. We're not exactly sure what we mean by that, but some of it's self-evident. So it's a big story, but they're starting to reporting on it right now. We're going to do much more right here tomorrow. But apparently, just to cover our off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. That's a direct quote.
This is the first time in history, in American history, that mainstream media is being ordered to look at this UFO issue as something realistic and something real. It's never happened before. And when the New York Times also jumps on top of this campaign and puts their full weight behind it, and you've got CNN and Fox on the same side, I mean, right away, you're being hoodwinked. You are being hoodwinked. It's unbelievable. You know, I don't watch CNN for the same reason I don't drink from the toilet. You know, but it looks like this is going to apply to Fox News as well. This is the case system which I teach. It's basically the system of investigation that can be used anywhere that is dominated by the deep state. Any country that is dominated by the deep state, because they're going to be expending so much on keeping the truth away from you. So that's why the case system is used to uncover truth in difficult areas. So it consists of these steps: find out the cover story, get what are the actions of the usual suspects in this area, identify dispositive clues, the ones that can determine guilt or innocence immediately. then seal your final investigative conclusion. And this is, in this particular case, this was my case final investigation. Here was my my actual final investigative conclusion on this. It appears that the Tic Tac videos and their promoters, whether they know it or not, are part of a deep state operation to take over and manage ufology in order to facilitate their final great psyop, the great UFO fear campaign, which is heading us towards the real final goal, fake alien invasion. Just like Werner von Braun warned us. He said, this is going to be the final card, guys. When the deep state has its back up against the wall, they're being taken apart, they're being destroyed, their old things are not taking off, nobody's paying attention to 3-Eye Atlas or the next meteor or the next meteor. Nobody's paying attention to any of that. What are they going to do? What's going to be their final card? This is it. This is it. Disclosure Theater's final goal. The aliens will be fake, but the destruction will be real. No matter how, this is a meme I made popular last year, because I like it how plasticky the aliens are. But no matter how fake the aliens look, when they're dealing out real destruction, you're not going to care. You're not going to care. So it's how fake they look. Because if they're destroying segments of our society, which I believe will be their assignment, here's a meme that was also popular during this time. If you think this was bad, the Twin Towers, wait till they fake the alien invasion. And then this one, I don't know. I kind of was going to take this out because it's just so silly. But when the same people tasked with faking this pandemic are tasked with a convincing alien invasion. And this is what it looks like. The greatest obstacle to understanding these realities, believe it or not, scientists and NASA, they do not give us just the facts. Reverse corroboration, when someone is already known for public deception, NASA, scientific mainstream, it shows that data is false evidence right away. Reverse corroboration. What's this one? I love that. You know, I love this clip because whenever I meet people who still believe that we landed on the moon in 1969, that Nixon took a rotary phone and talked to Neil Armstrong on the moon, that all the data from landing on the moon in 1969, they lost it, they erased it, they did something with it. I don't know, but I feel like Mugabe in Zoolander, because I just can't. I can't with these people anymore. Say again? I just can't. I feel like Mugabe. I feel like, is nobody else seeing this? Like what I'm seeing? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Sorry, I love that. He just shows how I feel. He shows how I feel. And, here, when you see scientists and medical doctors acting in ways that don't make sense, just follow the money. Follow the money. Here's some of what doctors have done in the past. Doctors and scientists, I would say. And yep, here's what the scientists and doctors used to do. They used to spray our kids with DDT. That was a real thing. That was a real thing. Who could be against true investigation? Who? Well, here's some famous scientific sayings that mean nothing. Follow the data. Great claims require great evidence. Well, that's not true because no great inventions would have ever been made. Another one, that's just anecdotal evidence. We need statistical evidence. Who could be against pattern recognition? You guys, pattern recognition is one of our strongest powers as humans to help us survive. Now, however, in when the Face on Mars came out in the 1990s, we got better forms, better versions, and scientism's reaction was to create these two new doctrines, pareidolia and apophenia, both of which say if you're recognizing patterns, it means it's a mental illness on your part. It's not real. Only scientists can tell you what's real. Don't try to be an investigator on your own. That's what they said. There's a good book by Mike Barra, Ancient Aliens on Mars, that really goes into this in depth. Scientism is a little different. Scientism is just the point of view that science can answer all the questions for you. Oh, gosh, I ran out of time already. Okay, well, this was the last thing. I was going to consider. The Miami Mall alien incident, which is on the other side of this chart. This was a genuine, I will always support that this was a genuine extra-dimensional instance of something that happened, something that went on, and it's every bit of evidence mitigates for that as well.
On January 1st, 2024, a heavy police presence surrounded a shopping mall in Miami.
This is the last thing.
Spread through the air. News outlets reported various accounts of what had transpired. Some sources saying that local gangs had clashed within the mall, while others suggested that a group of children had set off fireworks. However, a more mysterious version of events quickly circulated on social media, supported by eyewitness testimonies. According to these accounts, shoppers experienced a wave of panic when they encountered several dark, translucent entities, each several meters tall. A massive panic ensued, with hundreds of people rushing to escape the mall. Those who claim to have seen these entities describe them as dark, somewhat transparent, and constantly appearing and disappearing. They emitted a strange sound, reminiscent of radio interference to some and electrical equipment to others. These entities, estimated to be around 3 meters tall, moved erratically among the panicked crowd. Upon arrival, police cordoned off the entire mall area and declared a no-fly zone over the mall for 4 hours. Social media was flooded with discussions about these entities. News outlets presented conflicting reports, leading many to suspect a cover-up.
So I have a question.
Yes.
How would you, like, when you see stuff like this on the news or on like popular, paranormal programs and stuff, like how would you, like you think that's a genuine one, how do you differentiate between blue beam fakes and real?
Oh, that's
like something that's genuinely from another dimension.
Oh, that's excellent. It's
I don't know, like for me, like,
it's because the Miami Mall incident came to individual humans, came to people that were there in the mall. They were, it looked to me like they were attempting to make contact. They were trying to make contact, but nobody's going to make contact with a thing that's 10 feet tall and it looks scary and shadowy. And that's what the people in the Miami Mall, they, instead of making they started shooting at it. They started shooting at these things. Because apparently everyone in Miami has a gun, apparently. I mean, they proved it. They all started shooting at these things. And of course, the bullets didn't affect these things because they are extra-dimensional. They have the ability, as the guy said, to disappear and appear. That's extra-dimensional. Yes?
Finish seeing the rest of that video?
Sure.
I've never gotten to actually see the entire video.
Sure. It was just, oh, freak. Here, let me get you back. Oh, how come this doesn't? I can do it. Huh.
real footage, that stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
I put this at the end of the presentation because I'm still doing a massive investigation on all of this. Let me tell you, just to start, there's 3 hours of audio of all that's available publicly. I mean, anybody can go get it. 3 hours of audio of all the police officers talking to each other and talking to their command and trying to find out what is going on. It's a massive, massive investigation. Yes. Yeah, they were described sometimes as being teenagers. I don't think they were. I think they were just regular humans who had been assigned to do what they were doing. Oh, yeah? Yeah. That's because the news reported it one time and then never again spoke about it. So if you missed it that one time, you're out of luck because they're memory holding all of this. No. They were ordered not to. That's another thing that tells me that this was a genuine incident because the New York Times and Fox News and CNN are not all saying, hey, come look at this. This is crazy. Yeah, let's have some congressional hearings. No. Well, it was the largest police response since 9/11. Yeah, there's many things here that also they tell so many lies in this report. They said the airspace was cleared. No, it wasn't. There was a large group of black unmarked helicopters that were in the area keeping an eye on the thing that the cabal fears most. The cabal fears one thing. It fears real aliens, true aliens, coming in contact with individuals. That's what they fear more than anything. And if someone had stopped and talked to one of these creatures, I believe that those black helicopters would have opened fire on everybody on the ground to cover up what just happened. That's the reason they were there. And I believe they've done that before. They've done that before.
January 24.
Correct. Right around New Year's, right? Yeah. It was right around New Year's. Look at that. That's one of them. That's one of them right there walking.
So how many of those do you see in this image right here?
In this video, I think we see like 6 different ones.
Where are they?
Well, here's some of them right here. There's one, second one. That may be a third, or that may be one of the police officers that may have gotten out of his vehicles against orders. One of the main orders that was given was, well, the first order that was given to the police in this area was, caramba. Okay, when the main order that was given to people, I have to finish this up, folks. We're here too long. Okay, and the main order that was given to people is, this is a potential mass casualty event. Respond to this area. But do not get out of your car. Do not make contact with the enemy. I'm not sure what word they use. Do not make contact, though, with the enemy, with the subjects. That's something like that is all they said. So all these police officers were told to just respond to this area with this massive, massive response from like 13 different companies.
What do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more exciting documentaries.
Yeah, it was.
On the ground footage is there no one's going to FOIA request for body cams from the police?
Yeah, we have done many of the FOIA, but they are able to deny them on 2 bases. Number one, they say it's still an open investigation. How? How could it be an open investigation? Are you telling me the aliens are still around? But they say, okay, it's an open investigation. And then they also say there are national security concerns. So they don't have to respond to FOIAs. So they use both of those as a foolproof. Just in case one fails, the other one will win. So Yeah, that's it's an amazing case, and like I said, study is still going on with that. It just doesn't end, and yeah, I think that's what I got for you guys today. That's it. Thank you, guys. Sorry we ran over. I know we ran over, like way over.
You're not the first.
So I'll be here. I'll be right here at the table. Any other questions or anything else? Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.